Let's look really quickly at next week's stuff. The week 4 in the book is called Managing Script Events. And as I said, it's just what we've been doing, so just read that stuff. Everything up to the fantasy scripts and fantasy behaviors. And we'll get to fantasy scripts and fantasy behaviors later. I do want to add one thing from week 5, which is called Tearing Up Your Hidden Scripts. One tool that you may as well do now is spend the time, and this is in week 5, you can read it there, it's called Making a List of Contrary Examples. And the game is, for each script, actually write down specific occasions in which that did not come to pass. The 10 times you got called into the principal's office and didn't get thrown out of school, or 2 times, or the time you got called into the boss's office and he wanted to give you a raise rather than fire you, or whatever, but go down your script list now and make a list. For each script, make a list of several specific cases where your script didn't come to pass. Because I want to introduce the idea of a story right now. Yeah, we got time. Your script is just a story you're telling yourself about what's going to happen in the future. Okay? That's all it is. And if you look when the glitch comes up, the correct response to the glitch coming on, okay, what's going on here? What am I afraid of? What's going to happen? Okay? And you will see that you're telling yourself a story about what's going to happen. And if you have a list of contrary examples, you've got a list of all the times that it didn't happen, so you know it's a story. It's not a truth. And so you could come up with some alternative stories in the moment. I just got called to the boss's office, and my script is I'll always be abandoned, so I know he's going to fire me. Well, on the way to the boss's office, I could think, well, he might want to give me a raise, or he might want to tell me I've got to move to the next town, or he might want to tell me that this opportunity is opening up, or he might just want to tell me what a good job I'm doing, or he might want to give me some simple correction, and you can start coming up with other stories that you could, that could be happening. You just get it down in your gut that it's just a story you're telling yourself, one of many, many stories. And as Byron Katie would say, when you're doing that in advance, then pick a story that's nice and tell yourself that one. Why not tell yourself a happy story instead of this script story? So that's going to be what we do this week. And we do still have 5 minutes or longer, 5 official minutes, so anybody want to jump in with anything? Your floor.
Sure.
Yes, please.
I called you and I've been talking to Sharon and Keith. For a long time I've been seeing the resistance and seeing the, there I go again. It's now doing the work. It's like it really clarifies. Here I go again. It's just this thing. I got my list of 10 things or more or less. But as I shared too, the first time I shared, I think in this class was I also have this belief that things don't work out. So I see them both happening at the same time. I see the clarity of, it's just this script event happening, and there you go, manifesting it again. And when I try to, it appears to me that it's about my awareness of God consciousness. What's I guess offset this, my consciousness or God consciousness. So I've been reading Joel Goldsmith in the last couple of weeks too, and I'm reading all this stuff that he's saying about God is. I've always felt, don't pray to God for anything, don't ask for anything, just acknowledge that God is. So I found myself reading this stuff that I thought I already believed in, and now that I'm reading it, my doubt is coming in. So there's your script again. The doubt. It's not going to work out. So I would love to it's like my brain is searching for this on-off button. Turn off the human consciousness or human belief and turn on, tune in to the God consciousness. And I'm just having a hard time doing that because of, when I look back in retrospect, how it's been. For years and years and years, I've been doing what I consider doing the work to try to get free of this stuff. And I feel like I and it keeps letting me down. So I disbelieve, and there it is again, confirming that it's not going to work. So I just see this cycle that I see that I'm doing the cycle.
That's the script cycle.
So, I'm just, I guess, by talking about it again, confirming, it doesn't work. Yeah. Maybe that's all I'm doing by even talking about it. But I mean, I catch myself looking for that on-off switch. And
well, there certainly is no on-off switch. The on-off switch is in the $10,000 workshop. Sorry.
I'm alone there either.
No, you're not at all alone. There is no on-off switch. Everybody would love an on-off switch. I mean, the on-off switch is called sudden total realization. Okay, and of the 7 billion people, there may be 12 of them that have had that. In this alive right now. Maybe even 80, I don't know, but I'm talking about a subtle, total knock your socks off realization of my true nature. And that's all it is, of my true nature, okay? But the rest of us labor, we work, we improve our conscious contact with God. And that's the work. And the answer is that you can't do anything about that. You don't have any power. You don't think if you could be different, you'd already be different. If there were an on-off switch, God knows you've looked long enough, you would have found it. So there is no answer that you humanly can do. So quit trying to do it humanly. The point that I was trying to make earlier, humanhood is just in the seeing it clearly, and you've done that. Now the spiritual work is realizing the presence of God that it stops. That God stops. Please turn off. Mute your phone. Thank you.
Hi, Lee, it's Patty. Sorry about that.
Okay. So, hang on, Patty. Let me finish with Keith first.
Oh, okay.
So, the answer is more presence of God. Grow that. Spend more time. Fine.
I'm meditating a lot.
Good.
My meditation, what it was 5, 10, 15 minutes, sometimes I sit there for an hour. And I don't want to stop because as soon as I stop, it's back into my humanness. And there I go again.
Okay, so that's a good sign. That means that your meditation is being effective. And trust the process now. Let that happen. Let the presence of God transform you. Because it will. Let it lift you. I mean, if you're spending an hour a day getting lifted, every time you get lifted, you never quite sink back all the way, so you're making progress. And, spend as much time and the fact that you feel really good when you're there, and when you get out of it, the shit hits the fan, tells me that that's it. So, good. Be there, and Barbara had all sorts of statements that essentially boiled down to the good news is you can't do it because that forces you to turn to God. So the fact is I can't do it. I can't get rid of my scripts. I can't tear them up. I can't stop believing anything I believe. I can't stop fearing anything I fear. I had no say about any of this up till now. I didn't have any say about being afraid of having these fears. That wasn't my choice. I had no choices about any of this. This is just all what's happened to me. And I don't have anything to say about stopping them any more than I have anything to say about starting them. But the presence of God is all about as you experience the presence of God, you get lifted more and more towards that being that you really are, which is the one I was describing earlier, which is the one that's in eternal bliss. Which would be a nice thing to realize. Yes, Patty, please.
Hi. I really related to what that gentleman just shared, and happens with me is I have really, really bad social anxiety, and it worsens with the situation. Like if it's relevant to how less than I feel. Like if it's someone that I perceive has more knowledge or, social stature or, in a business situation or something like that. And I feel so hopeless with it because I get such a physical reaction. My anxiety gets so high that my mind will literally go blank. And it's almost like that reads my script because then I can't carry on an intelligent conversation because my mind is so jumbled. And I've really tried, like the past couple weeks when this has come up, I've really tried talking myself and trying to be in the God consciousness, and telling myself it's lies, just don't let it in, everything I've been hearing you say, and it just doesn't seem to stop the physical reaction I'm having. And is that just something that only time and increased meditation and is going to help?
Yeah, that, again, you're talking about the physical aspects of the fear. And, I would be repeating myself. That's exactly what we're about. There's the human aspect, the human aspect of it that we're talking about, which is part of what you've done before, and we were talking about, which is, recognizing the script and making the cases against it and doing that sort of thing. And then the other aspect is getting enough God in gear that you can transcend it. So yeah, it's a hard process for all of us to arrive at that altitude. And it will take what it takes. We will at least get out of this class here the insight and sufficient truths and all the stuff to work with that we can do the work. And if you, I think
deep down, I think I don't believe that I can really get rid of those physical reactions. I think that's what I'm holding on to. I really don't believe it. I think I'll always have them. Well, that's my script.
There are people that I work with who are currently listening to this class, who are in this class, who have seen, an incredible number of physical reactions go away as a result of doing this work. Did you have a hand, Christy? Oh, okay. You do it, just hanging there. Yeah, lots of people have done that. There are people who have, dropped, all sorts of medications and all sorts of stuff because the social anxiety is script. And
I'm one of them.
Yeah, there you are. I was hoping you'd jump in.
I'm one of them. I thought my physical symptoms would never, ever end. I thought that I would always have to be on medication, that I always would be depressed, I would always be at the same bad job. And the first time I took script in Kid, I think I lasted about 3 classes, and then I just said, fuck this, and I left. And this is my 3rd time taking the class, and the things that I never believed in, like getting off medication and not experiencing depression anymore, and then the voices in my head dying down, and then the physical anxiety leaving my body, and then all of a sudden people would come into my experience, they'd come into my close physical space, and I just wasn't having the same physical and mental and emotional reaction. I just want to say I still don't even know how it all works, but I was a real skeptic, and my life is so much softer, and I couldn't believe it until I experienced it myself. And that was the one thing Lee did mention. He said, of course, it's just another belief thrown on you. And until you have the experience, that it's not going to really make any difference or root within you.
Thank you for sharing, Aaron. Patty, that's Erin, and she's on the phone list. And also call me. Love to work with you a little more closely if you'd like to.
Okay, thank you.
You bet. Well, it's after 4 now, gang. We should wrap this up. Let's sit for 2 or 3 minutes and, as Dulcie would say, put a seal on it. Okay, thank you all. I love you all. See you next week.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could we